I'm inside AddressTwo to give a general overview. Let's just get our bearings and figure out where things are. I'm on my dashboard right now, which you get to by clicking on the logo in the upper left. Of course, it's a brand new database, so this is empty. I see no contacts and no tasks yet, and that's the first thing we need to get to. I'm going to go ahead and click the plus button. This plus button allows me to enter new contacts, new leads. And so as I start typing some basic information, just the name and contact information, what it's going to do is check for duplicates while I'm typing. Now, of course, this is a blank database, so none would be found. But if I already had this lead in the database, it would warn me that this is a duplicate and not allow me to continue. Now, if I continue, it's going to create a brand new account. Interesting thing to know about AddressTwo is it's account-centric. We have contacts and accounts. The account's the company. A company could have a main switchboard number. It can have, you can have a street address and things like that for the entire company. Companies have a status, like they're a customer or a lead. We can tag the company with different information about how we do business with them and search by those later. We can have descriptions, but we can have multiple contacts under one company. So right now, Nick Carter is the one contact, but I can add others. I can say Troy Hanna is also a contact here. Now I have two contacts, one company. I can put in Troy's contact information, his email address, his phone number, and so on. So I've got multiple contacts, one company, and then of course now we have tasks and history. One of the most common things that we do in AddressTwo is record information about what's going on with a customer. I do that by clicking the plus button next to the history icon. If I'm going to add history, it defaults to today's date. I can tell it what type of event this is. Did I call them? Yep. Of course, it asks me to pick which contact I'm calling. I'm calling Nick Carter. And I am Nick Carter, so it's a little confusing. And then I would describe what I'm doing. So, called, did a test event, just doing a nice video here. These are notes about what I might have talked to the contact about. Of course, I can also add a follow-up task. One of the tricks about AddressTwo is to always be reminding yourself to do something in the future, to continue the relationship forward, to continue the process of selling forward. So I'm going to add a follow-up task. I want to follow up next week. I want to talk to Troy, and I'm going to say that Nick said Troy was really the decision maker. He is on vacation this week. This sort of thing happens all the time. We call, we find out that we really can't talk today, so we want to make sure to remind ourselves to call out again. I want to assign this to myself, or I can assign it to another user. I can say that a different user in my account should actually take responsibility for this next task. I'm going to save this and find myself with a task to do in the future and history that has happened in the past. At any time, I can look up an account, find their account, and see all of the history that's taken place in the past. I can see any notes, any interactions we've had with them. Moving through this, I'm going to go to the Query tool. Query will allow me to search for those contacts. If I want to find, for example, custom fields, I want to look at those tags. And I want to find anybody that has a tag that is hot prospect. And I'm going to search. And I find Troy and Nick. I can add additional criteria, so I can say not only do I want to find hot prospects, but I want to make sure that the state is Indiana. I can add as many layers as I need to in terms of new categories, new data to filter with. When I go to marketing and try to send a new email, what I'm going to find is that discovering the recipients list for the marketing email that I want to send is using the same exact query tool. So I would pick my recipients by searching for them. I want to find everyone that is a hot prospect, search. 2 contacts were found. Those are the 2 people that I want to have on my recipients list. To show you quickly the rest of the items on the menu up at the top, we have activity. This is going to show me any of the tasks that I have due, or I can change it from task to history and find all of the history that I have done in the past. And I can also create lists. Lists allow me to just create simple groups of contacts, add people to them. I want to find anyone whose first name is Troy and add him to the list My Favorites. I now have a list called My Favorites, and it pulls up Troy. Over on the left, I have a few icons. These two, more detail and more detail in a new window, take me back to the account view that I showed you earlier. It shows me Nick and Troy, all the activity and details of this actual account. The other icons that I find over here are record a history entry. So if I looked up Troy, searched for him, Troy Han, and I can't remember how to spell his last name, so I just put in H-A-N, it still found the match. I want to record that I just called Troy. I can do it right from here and not have to enter the account. I can email Troy. I can assign a task for myself to remind me to call Troy back, let's say next Wednesday. And I can add Troy to any campaigns. In a future video, we'll discuss how campaigns work to automatically trigger follow-up emails to your customers. That's AddressTwo in a nutshell. If you've got questions, let us know.